Hello. Today we are reviewing the new Leica M10 camera. Since the announcement of Leica M240, there has been a long wait for a new Leica rangefinder camera. And now, after 4 years, Leica has finally announced the new Leica M10 camera. One thing you need to know is I don't have the new Leica M10. I didn't get to meet the Leica executives, nor did I get to sign the non-disclosure agreement to review the latest camera. In fact, I wrote and asked for information about the new Leica M10 camera. Basically, I was told that the new Leica camera was not planned to be announced. There was no plans to announce a new camera. And one day, if they did announce, I could write to them and ask for more information. Basically, we were told we would not get any information. Of course, there are already articles and videos online about the new Leica M10 camera. And as you might have guessed, we're not handpicked with an access to Leica M camera to review. And of course, we didn't sign non-disclosure agreement, nor did we meet Leica executives, nor am I here to comment on how anyone's reviews may be swayed or biased. In fact, in today's rapidly changing technology, with access to information being easier than ever, there is also a dark side fraught with misinformation, downright bias, twisting of facts. What I'm here to do is to give you the most honest, sincere, and unbiased review on Leica M10 camera. So let's start with the basics. We all have been waiting for the new Leica M10 camera, and there has been updates on the new camera, which we will talk about. And yes, certainly, I spent the whole day reviewing all the specs, watched all the reviews, read all the articles from the reviewers who have had access to the Leica M10 camera. What you probably want to know is if Leica M10 camera is a better camera than the previous model. Well, that would depend on your point of view. You see, Leica rangefinder cameras have a long history dating back to 1954. Over the years, improvements have resulted in better rangefinder cameras. For example, Leica M8 rangefinder camera introduced us to digital photography, and which was followed with Leica M9, and then Leica M240 with the CMOS sensor. And each model, there was an improvement over the previous model. Now we have the Leica M10 camera, which is to be an improvement over the Leica M240. But is it? What I would like to do right now, and please do this, look at your mobile phone. Do you remember the time when the phones didn't have a camera? That they were not smart? Now, you probably use it to check your emails or even snap a few photos when you don't have your camera with you. Now, if I told you, as an improvement, we will give you your old phone back, how would you feel about that? What I'm trying to get at is Leica M10 camera may not be what you're expecting. Let me explain. Do you remember the one thing that your mobile phone had improved over the years? How about the battery life? Okay, let's say as an improvement, we will give you a new Leica M10 camera with about 40% less battery capacity than the M240. Yes, the new M10 camera has a smaller battery than the previous version, and the difference is about 40%. And for that, let's compare the specs. The capacity of the new Leica M10 camera is about 1100 mAh, while the M240 had 1800. So what that means is there's a difference about 700, which means the camera has about 40% difference in capacity. So if you're using the new M10 camera while you're traveling or out photographing, it might be a good idea to carry a spare battery with you. And I'm only making an analogy here. What has happened technologically for mobile phones has happened for computers and cars and of course cameras. And Leica has had some great cameras come out over the years, and especially in the last 2 to 3 years. For example, Leica Q camera was a great camera. So is the Leica S camera, and the new Leica SL. It's a beautiful camera. Then of course came the Leica TL as a replacement for the Leica T camera. Now Leica TL has 16 megapixel sensor, just like the previous model, Leica T, and the same video capabilities. Now similarly, Leica M10 has 24 megapixels, the same as the Leica M240, but no video capabilities. This is what Leica considers going forward. A new camera that has less capacity, no video function, and the same number of pixels as the previous generation. Now, it was rumored that the new Leica M10 sensor is redesigned, but Leica doesn't release any information on their sensors, so no one except Leica camera could verify that information. And there are a few things about the new Leica camera that we need to mention. First, there are less buttons on the back. There's a dedicated ISO dial on the top plate. And the Maestro image processor with 2 GB buffer. This, plus the improvement in the ISO range of 50,000, are the new changes on the new camera. So what do these numbers mean? So let's start with the ISO. There seems to be a whole race about the high ISO numbers. Sony has A7S Mark II with 400,000 ISO. Nikon has 1 million. But you may know these numbers don't translate to digital free noise images. In fact, most cameras have digital noise in images about 3200 ISO. Regardless of how ISO numbers are, your camera will have digital noise if it's high number. So what does it mean with the 50,000 ISO? Well, it just means you can snap photos at 50,000 ISO, and those images shot with high ISO will have digital noise. By the way, some reviewers wrote that the new Leica M10 offers 2-stop advantage over the M240. I'm surprised they didn't say 5 stops or 10 stops. Camera technology or sensors technology does not improve by leaps and bounds, but in increments. It's the same way of having million pixels does not automatically translate to noise-free photography or improve your camera's performance by 2 stops. Please don't believe these comments, especially when these comments defy logic. And let's talk about the new Leica M10 design. Leica M10 is a slimmer camera than the previous generation. It resembles the size of Leica M7 and is thinner than the M240 by 4 millimeters. Leica M10 specs says the new camera's battery is 660 grams, while the Leica M240 was 680. So that's a 20 gram difference, which probably is the microphone and video related parts being removed from the older design. Now, would you be able to tell the difference between the M10 and the M240? Maybe if you had them in your hands. One of the things that has changed is the magnification ratio. Now, the new Leica M10 will have, according to the specs, 0.73 magnification. Leica M240 has 0.68. Now, these magnification numbers are not new to Leica rangefinder cameras. For example, you can buy a Leica film camera with 0.72 magnification. And some people prefer 0.72 magnification, like others preferring 6.8. It's a matter of personal taste, because if you're shooting with 50 millimeters, you may like the M240 magnification ratio of 0.68. But if you're into wide angles and shooting with 28 millimeters, then 0.72 magnification will work better. The bottom line is there is no right or wrong way of discussing this magnification. It's a matter of preference. Do you like 50 millimeters or do you like 28 millimeters? And there has been much talk about the Leica M10 camera's 24 megapixel sensor. And let's talk about those numbers and the facts. I always look at the bottom line. How many megapixels does the camera have? And what is the sensor size? Remember, there's a reason why professionals use medium format cameras. Medium format cameras have bigger sensors than full frames. And bigger sensors, there are more pixels. Now, if you have to increase the sensor size, or if you have to increase the number of megapixels, then you have a change. Now, all things being equal, if you don't change these numbers and use the same lens, you have similar results. Now, there are claims that the new Leica M10 camera sensor is being redesigned, but it still has 24 megapixels, still a full frame. We like to base our reviews on facts. So going on back to on specs of the Leica M10, the new Leica M10 camera has a new processor with an improved buffer size of 2 gigabytes, allowing for more number of frames per second. Of course, there's a new nice update, and probably you haven't noticed that new Leica M camera doesn't have the traditional single continuous dial under the shutter button. Where did it go, you might ask? In the menu. The new ISO dial looks very beautiful on the new camera. And here's a trick that I will offer you, and you should know. Remember when you need to change the ISO, you have to pull that ISO knob up and select the ISO setting and push it back down? Well, if you need to change the ISO rapidly, you can leave the ISO knob up and change it with your thumb, and when you're done, you can push it down. But remember to push that ISO dial down, because it can get caught up in your bag and cause damage to your camera. Now, going on with the improvements, the electronic viewfinder has been changed to the one that was used on Leica X and Leica TL cameras. Now, Leica M10 cameras also now feature Wi-Fi connectivity. It works the same way as Leica TL and SL models do, with the option to log on to LAN networks, and the camera remembers those network settings for easier logon. Of course, the images you shot with DNG files will take considerable time to upload, which makes JPEGs a viable option. But remember, your smartphone shoots JPEGs as well. Now, you have the option to upload or export your photos to your smartphone if you wish to have them anyway. So what we think about the new Leica M10? With no video functions, less battery capacity, the same number of pixels as the previous generation? Well, technology keeps moving forward. So Leica has made Leica M10 camera to be a photography-only camera. So is this a good thing? While the new cameras are offering 4K capabilities which can be used to extract photos from videos, how is having no video an improvement? What is important to realize here is that the lines between the photography and film cameras are converging to a point where cameras will afford quality in both fields. In this respect, improvements in one discipline doesn't need to impede on the other, but they are an integral part of technological development. Leica M10 camera has deviated from the path of offering video capabilities and returned to the one of photography-only camera. And I'm sure there will be a lot of Leica fans who will be applauding for that. But if technology is going forward, who are the new generation of camera buyers? Who are the future photographers of tomorrow? They are the younger generation, and they have come to accept their smartphones as having video capabilities and higher quality cameras that rival most compact cameras of today. And then the question I ask you, is this Leica M camera made to be a better camera? I'll leave you with that question. And I hope you have found this review helpful. We look forward to bringing you more reviews on cameras and lenses every week. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get our latest videos. And you can also visit our website to sign up to our newsletter and to read our in-depth articles. And I thank you for watching.